Welcome, everybody, to another Small Man podcast. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing my good friend Brendan. What's up, bro?
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Before we get started, why don't you introduce yourself? I guess you know. I don't know if you have a school. I don't know if you have a school now, and color belt.
Oh yeah. My name is Brendan Jackson. I'm a black belt. I trained at North Shore Jiu-Jitsu under Mike Fowler. Uh,
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, because I guess I lost. I mean, I know that you were training with Gary for a while, and then Gary shut down a while back. So I forgotten that you transferred over to North Shore. So
Yeah, we've always had like kind of a sister school type of thing going on. So like Coach Mike is the one who gave me my black belt, right? He just popped up one day. He came in. And I've always consistently trained at North Shore since I moved here. Because that's what Gary started at, so we always went back and forth. But it wasn't like this crazy jump I made. It was like I went from training like once a week to every week, like all week now, basically.
okay, so why don't we start off the early years of Brendan's jujitsu? Like when did you get started, and why did you get started?
Yeah, people always like when you know how it is when you're out in public and you're like, people find out you do jujitsu and you're like, oh, do you do it because of this? Did you do it because of that? Self defense or UFC or blah blah blah. And I had absolutely zero interest in UFC or anything like that. So I'm from Beaumont, Texas, and we have this thing called Market Basket, which is I guess like that region's version of Foodland. So I'm sitting in front of Market Basket. There was a girl I used to try to flirt with. She was the coffee girl at Market. So I'll go to Market Basket. I would like get my coffee and I'll flirt with this girl. And I'll go to my car and I will like roll a blunt and watch anime in my car as I like drink coffee. And it's kind of this routine I had. And then one day I'm sitting there and I see a bunch of kids just run out and like all like white geese. These are like 5 year olds. A bunch of 5 year olds just come running out with white geese. And I see this building and it just says jujitsu in just big bold red letters. That's it. Just no name attached, just jujitsu. And my only idea of jujitsu was this anime I used to watch when I was in like middle school called History is Midas Disciple Kenichi. And one of the teachers did jujitsu. And I remembered that. So I just walked up and I was like, hey, can adults do this? And he was like, yeah, come back at 6. So I left. I went back at 6 and I just trained every day from that day forward.
That's a that's an interesting way of getting introduced to jujitsu. So what do you remember how old you were or what year this was when you started?
Yeah, this was 2018. I was 21.
21. Okay. So prior to, did you do any sort of other sports or martial arts or anything like that?
I did like cross country and long distance track in high school. I kind of sucked. I really just did get out the house. That was like all I did it for. And although that's how I did meet someone who I consider to be like my mentor. Yeah, I did distance track, graduated. I was into like working out. I wanted to like do a bodybuilding competition at some point. So when I first started, I was like all like strong, kind of like jacked for my size. I walked in. I didn't know what to expect, but in my mind, I'm like, well, I got a little bit of strength on me, so I'll be fine. And I got beat up by everybody. So yeah, other
Yeah.
than
I
no
mean,
prior experience really, I was just working out.
okay. So, how long does it take for you to kind of start to understand jujitsu, like not just getting beat up every day?
I could say one thing for certain was guard passing didn't really click until maybe like about a year in. Before a year in, my guard passing was so. Oh yeah, people get mad at me for saying it. Um, how about should I have to watch my language?
Just be comfortable with whatever you say, man. It's all good.
Well, it was like so retarded. Some of my people I know get so mad at me for saying that, but I was like retarded at guard passing, and then like I playing guard. Once I hit around like once had to stop. I guess getting just smushed every day. Once I got to a point where I could at least kind of recover guard a little bit. Um, then it kind of like it was more of a natural progression for me. Like, I get stuck in mount, get stuck in side control, then I figured out how to like not get stuck in mountainside control, and then I just started playing guard, and so that felt like a little more like natural. But my guard pass was like literally just retarded, and then like a year in, I don't know, something clicked. One thing I'm thankful for is so I was at a very small school, and the way my living and job situation worked, I was pretty much free all day long, and so the black belt would have the owner. He would have 11 a.m. classes, but no one would show up but me. And so I would just get like a whole hour and a half like free private basically for like my first 6 to 8 months almost every day training. And then he hit a point where he kind of got busy during the day and then obviously no one showing up, right? So he wanted to go figure out, get a little small time job, make money. But he gave me a key to the gym. And around that same time, this guy joined, who I still talk to this day. Every once in a while, we text each other. His name was Charles. He's an anesthesiologist I met. And anyway, so he owned his own like business or clinic, whatever you call it, his own practice. And so he had time during the day to like train during lunch. So I just went from having like the owner roll with me every day to I had this key, and Charlie would text me like, "Hey, I'm free today," and so then we would go train during the day with him. So like my first year and a half for sure, I was basically getting a bunch of like one-on-one sessions.
That's a good way to start. So, when you first started, right, you're getting smushed and like the big old, like, obviously you don't have anything, but what keeps you coming back? Like, I mean, was there a point where you said, forget this stuff, man. I'm not down with these guys just smashing me.
There's like multiple reasons why. The reason I smile when you ask that because I always think about what my grandmother said. When I'm talking about stuff like this is now I just remember my grandma's an old black lady from like Southeast Texas, but I had a lot of things going on in my life at the time. I was like really depressed and whatnot, and so I would like just go to jujitsu, and I would just kill myself. And I live with my grandmother at the time, and I would like walk into the house, and as soon as I walked through the front door, I would just like die like on the floor. Like I would just as soon as I walk in, just crumble to the floor, and I would just lay there for like an hour and a half. Like I wouldn't move. I would just lay there. And my grandmother one day was like, "Boy, you act like them white people who cut yourselves. Like, why you do that to yourself? You just be killing yourself for no reason. You act like them white people who cut yourselves." And my grandmother's kind of wild, but when she's right, she's right. And in that instance, it was really just like I was really depressed, and so just going somewhere and just like I guess the version of like self harm. That was my version of self harm, basically. In a way, it was like I'll go to jujitsu and I would just go hard in the paint. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was fun. All right, like I mean, I still think it's fun. But I think that initial like I needed something to get my like negativity out was on what kept me going. So most people don't like the whole getting smushed. That's why people quit when they first start. But for me, it was almost like a yeah. You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, I mean, I know it's cliche, we talk about a lot, but kind of jujitsu helped you through I mean, I don't know, save your life, but it helped you through a difficult time, a difficult phase of your life, yeah?
Oh yeah. I mean, it gave me like small things. It gave me big things. I mean, I was doing other things on the side too. A bunch of I started a bunch of things. I started doing a few things like simultaneously. Like I joined jujitsu. I started meditating like right before that. Like I had started doing like quite a few things that were like it just interesting. It all started around the same time. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how long did you last at that first gym you started at?
Right before I moved, he closed down like a few months before I moved, and so that was I moved here in a month before COVID, February 2020. So from 2018 to like April 2018. I still remember like the exact month I started, and I know I started on a Tuesday. I just can't remember if it was like the 16th or 18th, but pretty much April 2018 ish to like November 2019. And then I just did like open mats until I moved here for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll join
So,
Gary Jim the second day I moved here.
so of course the big question is what brought you to Hawaii?
I wasn't on shit. I was fresh out of flunking out of school. I was being a dickhead, right? And I reached a point where the friends I made in Houston, they were all starting to move on, whether they were graduating or they were moving away, whatever it was. everyone around me who I was kind of like cool with and whatnot, their lives were progressing, and I was just in Beaumont being a caretaker for I used to be a caretaker for mentally challenged adults. And the house I worked at for the last 2 years, I did total care. Right. So when total care is like they're in a wheelchair, they can't really move their limbs. I gotta pick them up, put them in a bed, pick them up, put them in that chair. I gotta change them. I gotta change their diapers. Okay. I have to blend up their food and spoon. I even had to spoon feed them. Right. I had to brush their teeth for them. I had to do all that, shave them. Like they couldn't do anything for themselves, and I did it for 2 years. And I was just also just reaching the point at the same time where it's like, dog, I get tired of like leaving my house. I mean, I get tired of leaving work, and I'm like sniffing myself because I can still smell that like shitty diaper. You know what I mean? Like it just it just wears on you. And so my dad would always like, my dad's been out here since 2003. I have a brother and a sister. They they're pretty much almost born and raised out here. And so my dad was always like, if you ever need a break, or just chill out from life, you can always just come out here. And I was like, one day I was just sitting there and in my head, I need to do something different. I was like, I can't step. Mind you, I left at the right time too, because my city was already kind of like not so good, right? But ever since I left, it's really going down here, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I live in Beaumont. I change diapers every day, touching other dudes' penises. All my friends are like, starting to move away. And I was like, I need to do something. I don't know what that something is, but I need to do something. I can't just stay in Beaumont and wither away. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should take my dad up on that offer. He always says like every so often he'll like throw it out there. So one day I called him up around like September, and I was like, hey, can I um can I still move? And he was like, yeah. And so I started planning out in September, and I moved here in February.
Nice, nice.
COVID
Okay, so
hit.
you,
I stayed there.
yeah, freaking COVID. But I mean, there are some downsides, obviously, to COVID. But I mean, I think there's some upsides. Like, I mean, we probably wouldn't have met if it weren't for COVID, or it would have delayed our meeting, right? I mean, I think we met over at Tang's place. Yeah,
Boy, I got so much training in during COVID. We was doing a speakeasy jujitsu.
that was some good times for sure. So, did you so you said you started pretty much with Gary when you landed here, but that was just like a short period before COVID hit, yeah?
Oh no, okay. Shout out Gary. So I moved here. COVID happens, right? Gary's the reason why I was getting to train all the time. Because Gary, I'm not from here, right? So how am I figuring out where to go train at? You know, I don't know. Like he brought me to Boar's Nest. I couldn't even get to Boar's Nest if you asked me at the time. I'd have been like, "Where's Poop Kill? Where's Sunset? Where's like." The Gary's the one who pretty much introduced me to everyone. Either he introduced me to them, or I found out through someone who knew Gary that I met. Hanging out with Gary. But no, yeah. So Gary would come, and he lives right by me, right? So Gary would come, scoop me up. We'll go train, and we did that until he was able to like get the jump back going.
When you got here, were you? I'm trying to remember what belt you were when we met at the COVID time. Was that purple? Was it
I
brown
was a
already? Okay, yeah. Um, and then the training over at Silver Fox that went on for a while, though. Yeah.
yeah, we had a nice little run.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I only made it out there that right towards the end when we had that little dig sting, that Alika sting.
Mhm.
You competed in that one out there. It was a nice little spot out there.
It was cool. There's a bunch of military, so it's like we're right across from Schofield, and so every time you would like get like a nice little like membership going, they would move, and then you had to like rebuild up. So like pros and
Is
cons. You kind of consistently get people, but you couldn't get them to stay because they were moving. If we were able to keep everyone who joined and who only moved because the military told them to, we'd have like such a large membership by the time he closed down. But because every time we would start getting like consistent more and more and more, they would all just ship out. That's my view. Maybe Gary would say some other reasons, but to me, that was the main reason why. Just like
Mm,
they start building a membership and then they all leave and you got to rebuild it. Versus like people just steady coming in. So that 5, 10 you get would like add up. With us, it was like 5, 10, 15, 20. Then go back to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then go back.
keep resetting every time they get stationed somewhere else. Yeah, because you guys are doing kids too, right?
Yeah, he had a nice little kids thing going on. I did that with
Yeah.
him for all the way up until I reached the point where I was trying to like start school and I got a girlfriend and I was like, I can't trying to make that kids block in the middle of the day was just too much for me. It became too much once I started school and stuff. But
Mm,
before that,
mm.
I think I helped with all the kids classes a good like 2, 3 years straight.
Yeah, the kids. Even we just started kids classes at Concept a couple months ago.
I've been waiting for Maya to start his kids program.
Yeah, yeah. So
I like
that's
it after Maya's school, bro.
yeah, that's the way I think. Get the kids program going, and then you get the parents in after that, and then your school just starts to grow. Yeah, for
But
sure.
we also had the same issue with the kids because all the kids were also we get kids and a couple of kids start getting like really good and then they would just up and move. And so yeah, that was we've had some good kids come through too. We had some good kids. We had some kids who started off like stop crying, bro. And then like by the time they move, I think especially it's two kids I think about is this one kid named Mia. When she first joined, she was like quiet as a mouse. And you know how people the body language, they shoulders be all in, they talk
Mm.
like this. She was one of those kids, and by the time she left, she was like chest out, head up, just speaking her mind. So I always enjoyed that aspect with the kids.
Yeah, we saw that a lot at UFC too, where the kids, yeah, they're withdrawn, they're shy, they lack confidence, and then 6 months, 8 months, 10 months in, they're like, just like you said,
Well,
just
not took
walking
her.
around.
It took her a little bit longer. I'm not gonna lie.
Took a little longer.
It took her a good like year and a half before she really started it. But she came through. Her parents were cool too.
You see that swagger when they walk around like they're confident and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Is is Gary? I know Gary left. Did Gary come back yet?
Kinda. He's in Kauai right now, if I'm correct.
Okay. Yeah, Gary's a good guy.
Gary be on his own journey in life.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
Gary.
So you're you're are you still in school studying? Are you still a student
Oh
or?
yeah, he's going out part time. Having kids, slowing your boy down. So yeah, the one baby we got, she turns what 16 months tomorrow, and then I have another kid due in September. So I'm going out in part time, and I'm taking like my hardest classes this semester, or one of my hardest classes. So yeah, I'm just gonna go down to 2 classes.
I I seen you a couple times. Like I think it was like a tournament or something. You're fucking doing your homework. I'm like, what is this guy doing, man? It's like, are you what's your major? Like, what are you taking?
Chemistry and a math minor. I'm at a point where I kind of regret the math minor because I'm for sure the dumbest in all the upper level math classes. I'm for sure the dumbest one. I try hard though, but I do it because I kind of enjoy it. But I'm so glad this is my last math class this semester. But my main major is chemistry. I'm hoping to start applying a PhD program sometimes next year. I need to get some research experience, so that's my next goal. But yeah, I don't have nowhere near the same like me studying a tournament with everything going on in my life now. I don't have anywhere near the same discipline anymore, so I'm trying to get that back.
Just like you said, bro. Kids will, especially babies or toddlers or infants, they'll change your life, bro. Your priorities and your free time just goes away.
Yeah. So last year I thought I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. My grades show what I was getting myself into. So I'm going down to part time so I can have more time to like do other things, and then I could fit in like 2 classes and not 5.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, with all that going on, how much time do you actually get to train?
Quite a bit. I so the way my life works out is really convenient because my girlfriend she works for the DOE. She's the BCBA, and she only has to work in person like I don't know, like 6-ish hours a week, and then she can do a bunch of other things at home. And so she has this type of schedule. I'm also like I work part time, I go to school part time, right? And so cause we need someone to be able to watch her when my girlfriend has to do work stuff. So the way our schedules work out, I can consistently get in like 2 days of a morning training and then like a night or two of evening training throughout the week. So I could kind of
That's cool. That's cool. So, are you? I think. Where did you go? Are you still there, Brendan?
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, I think I briefly lost you. I lost video. As long as you're still there, we'll keep talking.
Okay.
So, are you? So, I guess with that, I was going to ask you because I wasn't sure if you get to train a lot, but you're still competing, yeah?
Yeah, I don't take it as serious. Like so when I was first training, I had the time to go hard in the paint. All right. And so if I had a competition coming up, I could just like put all my attention into like training to get my competition, like be ready for the competition. Now I compete for the love of the game, but I don't really have that same intensity anymore.
Hmm.
So I go out
You,
there, if I win, I win. I lose, I lose. It's like you saw me at the past IBJJF. I was looking like hot ass out there.
it's like you said, when you're doing it for fun, that's the main thing about it. I mean, medals are nice, but just going out there and doing some good jujitsu, that's the important part. Are you are you doing fight to win?
Yep, I'm hoping I don't look like hot ass again. I got the guy. His name is Bilal. I think he owns the Gracie Baja and Kapolei.
Yeah, yeah. The Gracie Barran Kapolei. Yeah,
So
that's.
we'll see. Okay,
I think on my side it said you're getting like an incoming call or something. So I don't know if you got a phone call or something.
man, those spams be killing me.
Yeah. So yeah, so I somehow lost your video. I'm assuming you're still recording. I'm just hoping you're still recording on your side, so it'll come out okay. But anyway, all right. So let's talk about maybe evolution of your jujitsu, right? So obviously when we first start, we don't know nothing, right? But talk about the different stages that you've progressed through. I know you said your guard passing got better after a year and a half in, but I think when we first met, you were like pretty much more like to play guard.
Everyone thought that. I mean, I've always considered myself to be the kind of an even person. I'm just too lazy to do takedowns. Oh, I used to be pure. Now I've been working on that. But when I first started, I was just too lazy to do takedowns. So essentially, my mindset in general, like when I'm doing a competition, I used to walk out and I would get real low, like I'm about to pull guard, and I would wait a couple of seconds and I would look, cause I had the attitude either I was pulling guard or you pulling guard, but we're gonna get the ball rolling. All right. I never wanted to be one of those people who just go out there and like tug and just do boring stand up. I know people have their gripes about playing guard and blah blah blah. I don't think anyone who's ever watched me do a match could ever say I ever went backwards. You've never seen me ever butt scoot backwards. Everything I do has always been forward. So people always go, it's because of the Barambolos. Everyone always considered when I first moved here, a lot of people considered me like a Barambolo guy, which is true. I did do a lot of Barambolos, but I've always played guard. I mean, I've always guard pass. You just never get a chance to. I feel like a lot of people they mainly see me in like competition, right? And in competition, you just see me pull guard and play guard, but it's only because I was just being lazy. But I'll play. I do guard passing. I've always enjoyed guard passing. And
You have anybody that you have anybody that kind of influenced the way you play your jujitsu?
AOJ, like so, my first coach, he's really big into like Hoffa specifically. I mean, both of many of those, but Hoffa specifically. And he would sit down, and he's always had the attitude that the seminars they do in Portuguese are better quality than the seminars they do in English. So he would sit down and just look at like just like watch their Portuguese seminars, but he don't speak Portuguese, so he would like constantly rewind these videos just to piece together what they're doing, and then he would have us drill like a bunch of stuff. So that's like my main and I kind of stuck to that model. I take bits and pieces from people. Like I went through Lovato phase for a second while I was figuring out his headquarters. I went through Levi Leary Jones phase where that's when I started doing like Brata Platas. Before the Meows made them popular. Um, I like a little bit of Lucas Lepre. Anyone who rolls with me like for the past year and a half knows my knee lever is getting crazy. Um, Funny enough, workshop influences my jiu-jitsu too, even though I don't train it. Well, they frustrate me so much that I put a little bit of effort into figuring out what they're doing. And sometimes I emulate what they're doing. Coach Mike, obviously Mike Fowler, like he just rolling with him all the time has an influence on stuff I do. And yeah, I think that's my influences. At this point, I don't even consider myself the Berimbolo guy. You rarely see me even do a Berimbolo anymore, and if I do, I just come up into a leg drag. I really wanted to. So I'm 29. I'm having my stress and like I turn 30. I mean, I'm getting old next year, right? Stressing about it, and so I've made it my business the past like year and a half, which is also why my knee level is starting to get so good. Is don't move around so much. Like I'm not saying I don't want to be athletic. I do want to use my athleticism. And while I do think I'm getting old, I'm not old yet, so I'm not just gonna like let go, doing my young man stuff. But I do wanna gracefully age in my jujitsu and not get to a point where I'm like, oh my god, I can't move the same way I used to move anymore. So I have to like completely switch up my game. All right. So I've already kind of been preparing myself for that. So now I'm all about only moving when I have to. And it's also the thing where when you're coaching, when you're teaching, all right, if your student can like just easily do like I don't know a cartwheel pass, I bust it out every once in a while. You'll see me, or whatever it is, then sure you can teach a cartwheel pass. But when you got a bunch of people in there who are like all these different sizes, all these different weights, the majority of them haven't jumped since they were like 10, right? It becomes difficult teaching certain things, or maybe they're not as flexible. So another part of my motivation is that I want to be able to have a system that I could teach to any age. I could teach to a 5-year old. I could teach it to a 75-year old. So that's also been like part of my I guess my evolution of sorts is just I don't want to say dumbing it down per se, but just everything I teach requires zero physical like ability, and then you can add on to it with whatever style you want to have specifically. So if you want to have a speed, the far distance pop 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 style, you can do that. But if you also want to just be like an old man, you can also do that with what I'm teaching. I give you like the tools to branch out, but the core is gonna always be the same. Even like some people, they're like I only want to stay on my knees, right? Because they think that when you stand up and pass, it requires you to like have to do a bunch of movement. And it's a couple people I roll with who they stand up and pass, but they're not like blitzing you. They're just having heavy pressure from a stand up stance. And so I always try to for people like that who are like, I don't want to do this, I don't do that. I'm like, you don't have to. You can what's the word I'm looking for? You can modify things to how you want to move, right? Even like certain techniques, right? Like we all can't do them the same because we're all built different. Me doing a triangle is gonna be different from you doing a triangle to like Maya doing a triangle or Coach Mike doing a triangle. We all have different lengths, we're all different ways, right? But we still make it work. And I feel like the majority of jiu-jitsu is that way where you can modify something to fit which your body style or like the goals you have with how you want to roll, you know? So
That,
yeah, I kind of
that's
want my jiu-jitsu to have kind of this core that I could teach to any and everybody, and then they can modify things to fit the specific style they want to have.
that's an interesting approach. I've thought about something similar where, sometimes in the beginning you teach beginners like I just call it white belt moves that work at white belt, but then don't work anymore. Like I don't know, I can't think of something right off the top of my head, but it's kind of like you taught them something that they can use for 6 months, but after 6 months, now they got to learn something new. I think the idea, kind of what you're saying, like at 575, you can use this system regardless of age and skill level, right? I mean, black belt, white belt, whatever. So that's a good approach to that.
Yeah, the whole white belt, I've thought about that. And so anyone who knows me knows I'm kind of chronically online, right? I'm always, I mean, if you look at my on my stories, you know, I'm always just sharing like stupid. Shit. But in the jujitsu part of like the online space, the current argument is the what is it CLA? What does it stand for again?
CLA,
I know what it is. I just can't think of the actual
Const-
actor.
con- constraint led approach.
Yeah, the whole CLA versus drilling. I
Hmm.
never thought of it this way, but for like a fresh white belt, I definitely have more of a similar to a CLA approach. Not the exact same thing, but maybe because I don't have like the patience for certain things. But I don't see the point in teaching like when I say a brand new, I mean once you hit like 3 4 months, you get more specific. But for the first like 2 months for sure, I never give like specific unless what they're doing is just like so retarded that I have no choice. But unless they're like if they're just like a normal white belt, I'm like push the leg, sit up. I give like very basic things. I don't see the point in going as you sit up your leg, scoot your hip out, and then block. There's so many instructions. When I just need you the first couple months, just get your body used to moving in a certain way, and then once you ain't got to think about just moving your arm like 2 inches this way, then we could like then I'm. It's I feel like it's either for me to teach it to you and it's either for you to process what I'm trying to tell you, right? So like something maybe something basic like what is it from close guard to Upa sweep.
Hmm.
Right? If a brand new person, I might just say, shoot, pick a side, left or right, sit up, grab the arm, push your hip into him. Right? Something basic, something that could
Mm-hmm.
like kind of, in my mind, most people can crunch their mind around. And then once they hit like the 3 month mark, then I'll be like, I give them like a more technical way of doing the position. But right now, I need you to sit. You can't even sit up. Why am I telling you all these different instructions? You can't even sit up. Now, if it's someone walks in who could pick up things that quickly, to me that's nice. But I don't really expect people that often anymore to just what we consider to be very basic things to an adult who's like, I don't know, 35 walking in, hasn't been athletic since he was in high school. If he even did high school sports, the majority of people come in haven't played since they were like literally children. Those people sit up, push your hips into them. You know, just get the motions. And then once those motions come, then I'm like, oh, grab here, step right here, make sure your left hand is posting here, and then
Right.
I feel like it's easier for both parties. At least that's the excuse I give myself. Really, some people I don't have the patience for certain things, so I think also that influences my opinions and ideas about stuff like that. Because I after my like the third time me giving you these like list of instructions, I'm like, dog, if you don't move your left hand 2 inches,
Yeah, I think that works well with kids too, especially at a young age, where they're not going to remember 5 steps. But if you tell them just turn to the side, I think they can do that.
whew,
So let's talk about. I know you mentioned that Mike showed up one day to give you your black belt. It, can you kind of talk about the day when it happened, like how you felt?
it was so I already kind of as soon as he walked in, I kind of figured what was going on. he just bust in like the end of class. And Norman, he's like out in North Shore, handling his business and stuff, right? So he busts in the end of class, and my immediate thought was, oh, I must be getting my black belt today, because why else would he just bust in like this? And I don't know if I always thought it'd be like this really special thing, which it is, right? Which, don't get me wrong, it was, but it wasn't as like. Let me put it this way: some people when they get their black belts, or even like other belts, right? You can tell it's this like really emotional thing for them, you know,
Mm.
and they're able to like stand there and give this speech about how everyone and blah 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 and whatnot. I didn't have that type of emotion, I guess. Like I was happy, but I was like, I don't know if I was fresh off of coming off of a loss. That's one thing that like irritated me. I was like fresh off a loss, and and I lost to the dude, and I ended up losing to the same dude at black belt anyway. But I was fresh off of like actually two losses, and I was like, nah, because they were still brown belts. I was like, I want to run it back. That was a part of the thing that was going on in my brain, and then also just it's cool being a black belt, but it's cooler being like a black belt with a tattered 10-year-old black belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like my mind
yeah.
is like, I realized at that point in time, my mind is like way further like ahead. Like when I think of a black belt, I think of like the black belt who's been a black belt for like 10, 15 years. And so my first goal was, man, I gotta get these stripes now. I gotta stick to it. And also just, I didn't want to quit. Like that was nothing I thought about is how people get their black belt and quit or they don't train as much. Never wanted to be one of those people with the black belt. It's like, all right, I accomplished my goal. I'm kind of like done. Like, nah, this is the getting my black belt isn't my goal. My goal, I guess, is like lifelong jujitsu, right?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. You got you got any lessons or things that influence you from your time doing jujitsu?
I mean, it's quite a few things, like basic things, big things. I always, to me, the biggest lesson just enjoy it though. Like I've gotten all these, I have gotten a bunch of benefits from jujitsu. That I could just like go on and on about. Where it's like me, I have a very like kind of complicated like life growing up and whatnot. So you know, I never really spent around. I never spent a lot of time around men, like just adult men, until I joined jujitsu. And so that was really helpful growing up. Having I don't look at anyone as like a father figure, but just having that male influence, I really needed that when I joined, and just a bunch of other things. But to me, it's really important to just enjoy jujitsu though. Like you, regardless of what benefits you get from jujitsu, they will never come about if you don't enjoy it and stick to the training. You know? All right. And so to me, the biggest thing is always just enjoy it. You know, if people wanted to if you wanted to think about how to heal or like how to like overcome something, right? You would just go to normal therapy and talk to someone. But you join a lot of people join because they don't want to talk to someone. You don't want to like a lot of people don't want to think about those thoughts. They just want to like deal with them in the background. So to me, when you join jujitsu is like kind of helping you deal with things without you having to think about it. And you just have like a realization one day, like, oh, like I don't have this issue anymore, or maybe I'm a better person, blah blah blah, right? That all came about because you just stuck to jujitsu and you thought of and you just enjoyed it, you know, and you don't put all this pressure of needing to be a better person or I need to you- I need to fix myself, right? Like you go to jujitsu, you enjoy it, you go through hard times, and then you come out a better person. So to me, first and foremost, you need to enjoy jujitsu. If you don't enjoy it, you're not gonna do it. And if you're not gonna do it, then you're not gonna reap any of the benefits that come with doing jujitsu. So always go and have fun.
That's a very common theme about having fun at jujitsu.
Yeah, like don't put so much pressure on yourself. Even when I'm talking to people who are like want to start and like blah blah blah, I don't want to do this or I'm out. The common thing is I'm out of shape or the normal excuse people give. I'm always like, dog,
Mm-hmm.
You just show up. No way. We're not in there having a fucking kumite and like like fucking Afro Samurai, like just chopping each other and shit. We not that's not going on. Like I always tell people, think about it. You walk into the jiu-jitsu gym, it's a bunch of adults who have like jobs that we need to go to the next day. We're not in there, don't make it into this big old karate film from like the fucking 80s, 70s. Like just come, have a good time, see if you like it, and figure things out. Don't make it this big thing.
Yeah, well said. What do you think's been your biggest accomplishment or what you were most happy about what you've accomplished in your time in jiu-jitsu?
I never thought about that. Uh, is it specifically a jujitsu thing, or just something that happened because of jujitsu?
Just in general. Yeah.
I would say controlling my emotions. Jujitsu really helped with that. Like, if it's anything else, if it's one thing that I'm very proud of, it's the fact that when people meet me now, they're like, "Oh, you're like so like chill and quiet, and you don't really like get angry." But when I first, or not angry, but just emotional and stuff, right?
Mm,
Like I don't really
mm.
get like it's whatever. I'm chilling. But when I first started jujitsu, I was like, I had absolutely zero um emotional regulation. My emotions were just all over the place all the time. And when I first started, I would have to go to the restroom. But really, I'm like so I'll go to jujitsu and I just had like one thing in my outside life going on. And so I would have these moments in jujitsu, trying I'm getting smushed in soccer control, I'm getting really frustrated. And I would like start having like an anxiety attack and stuff. And so I would like go to the restroom and I would like just hit my face with some water, like get over it, right? And once that stopped happening, I know it's in my normal life, I was just way more calmer. Like things would happen and I would just so I guess to me that's like the biggest thing I'm proud of in jiu-jitsu is emotional regulation I got from it.
Mm. That's great. That's great. Do you do any sort of thing for recovery?
Now I do since I've had the injuries build up. Now I do since your boy being pain sound like an old man trying to get out the chair. Um, I just do so right now I'm trying to fix my neck, right? And a couple people know about this. I'm trying to fix my neck, my hips. And so I do basic like I do the McGill Big Three, the bird dog, the side plank. Actually I replace the side plank with the clown plank. And then I can't think of the one where you like lay on your back and you kind of like breathe in and brace your core. I can't think of the name of that one, but I'll do the McGill Big Three. I'll do some yoga stuff. And it should be like my warm up. I'll I might do some pistol squats as a warm up. Right. I'm really big, and this is before jiu-jitsu, by the way, though. I'm really big into this taking a hot bath and some Epsom salts. I know, most dudes like, a bath? Why would I do that? It's so unmanly. I'm telling you right now, after a hard night of jujitsu, go home and take a nice hot bath. Throw some Epsom salts in there, right? If you like me, people who know me know I'm kind of I'm so I used I'm really into like self care, right? So I'll go in there, I bring my beer. It used to be wine, but now I've turned to a beer drinker, right? Go there, roll your blunt, get your wine, get your beer, start watching that. You just hop in the tub. I promise you, 20 minutes, get out. And I'm like, ooh, I feel so loose. And you go straight to bed, go to sleep. I think people should really start taking more baths at night when you're physically active. With some Epsom salts. Gotta throw the Epsom salts in there.
I
Get
can
crazy,
hundred
a
I
bubble
can
bath.
100% I can 100% agree with you on that, dude. I do that all the time too.
Even in the morning, like if you got the time in the morning, you'll woke up in the morning and you're just like stiff. and you're like, ugh. I know some people like, oh, just take a hot shower. If you got the time, wake up in the morning, take a nice hot bath. You're gonna feel so wonderful the rest of the day.
Yeah. So I guess you're a big anime fan.
Oh yeah, I
What's your
watched
favorite?
anime
What's
before.
your favorite? Or before?
Since like before it was popular, right? When I was watching anime, especially growing up in like Southeast Texas with like a really ghetto high school or like this city, you was you was weird. Okay. I was never one of those I was never one of those Naruto run down a hallway kids. You just asking to get bullied at that point. But oh yeah, I've been watching anime since I was a small child, since I don't know, early Toonami. My favorite
That's
one,
it.
I don't know. I have my personal favorite. I don't know if I would say they're all my favorite, but I've always really enjoyed I only watched one Gundam. Gundam Double O is the only one I watch. I like Code Geass, Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, Kenichi the Mighty Disciple. It's a good. I really enjoyed that one. Whenever people ask me these questions, I try to say like the major animes. Like everyone knows Naruto, everyone knows Bleach, everyone knows One Piece, right? Um, yeah, I'm watching anime for a long time.
Like you said, I mean, it's kind of a weird combination that you'd be down there in Texas and you start watching anime, but what got you started? Like, what was the interest, or did someone, show it to you, or like, how did you get started?
uh, so I don't know if this is what started me. Maybe this is what made me notice it coming on TV when I was a small child. But my grandmother used to. She went to the same washateria my entire life. Mr. Um, I think a laundromat, because I've lived out here some years now. If I say washateria, people look at me crazy. The laundromat, you go right. I say washateria. I think other people say laundromat. Um. Anyway, she used to go to the same laundromat, and when the owner, Mr. Richard, wasn't there, there was this like black dude. And then I think about it, in my mind, he was old, right? I'm like 5. In my mind, he was old. As an adult, I look back on it now and I realize having this conversation, he was probably like 25. Yeah, it was a black dude who would come and he would watch anime like Ranma one and a half, and he had like his own little tea set. And so he would like sit there and like make his tea and drink tea and like watch anime. And he would talk to me when I would go through with my grandmother. I have to ask my grandmother what happened to him. But and so that was probably like one of my first influences. But other than that, I feel like most people in my generation, right? It's stand up late, Toonami come on the TV, right? It's Saturday night, the Naruto, so you watch anime all night. That's for me. That's probably the main thing because I just have memories of like being younger than my stepdaughter, just oh, 9 o'clock Saturday. Granny went to bed. I'm about to start watching my anime. And I guess what makes it memorable is the fact that I know that some of the stuff used to come on, they probably wouldn't have let me watch, but at 1 o'clock in the morning I'm up by myself, no one knows, right? So yeah, I just remember this. So yeah. And so then it went from that to how you need to used to have you so now it's all the streaming people, they banned all the anime sites, but it used to be you just had like this plethora of anime websites you use. So I would always have like you had your Anime Freak, Anime Season, and amongst whatever 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 websites, I can't remember anymore. And so you hit the point where I want to watch anime more than just on a Saturday, so I have to figure you got to find an anime website. And so yeah, now it's like you just get on Crunchyroll and watch some anime. You get on Hulu and watch some anime. You don't have to like dig and search for it because not every anime website has anime. All the websites had the mainstreams, but if you want like a little bit more of a niche anime, not every website had it. So you had to like kind of dig around depending on what it was. The best one back then used to be AnimeFreak.tv. They had a very long list of anime, and now. All that's over. Now I have to wait for Crunchyroll to post anime to watch anime. It's depressing. We used to be a proper nation, a proper country.
All right, Brendan. Um, you know, I've been talking a lot about this in my last episodes about mentors and mentorship. Yeah, about having people help me along my path, and also have helped other people along their path, right? And I think it's important that um, people that are your mentors, you acknowledge them, right? Sometimes they don't realize they are a mentor to you. So I want to see if you have somebody or people in your lives who have helped you mentor you along the way.
Yeah, my summer track coach. His name is Mr. Eric Mendez. What's funny is a lot of the things that he was trying to teach me, I didn't like fall back on until around the same time I started jujitsu. But he taught me I had a very bad. Oh, he was trying to teach me. I had a very bad self image of myself, right? And so I guess he understood that I saw myself as a failure, and so therefore I created circumstances to make myself like I would just fail because I believed I was a failure, and so I would do really good at I know earlier I said I ran track because I wish it's true I did run track because I just want to get out the house, but I would actually do really good at and practice like a lot of practices I ran summer track, right. I would do really good at the practices, and the people I trained with, they were all good runners. Like they regularly won competitions. They got scholarships to go run. One of my friends, Jordan, she ran for UT, and so I would like keep up with them in practice. So there's no reason why. Dang, now I'm thinking of having this conversation as an adult. Like now that I'm like way past that point, there was no reason why I'm keeping up with everyone in practice and like I'm coming. And this is also interesting. I always came like second or third to last. I never came last. I always came second or third to last. So there's no reason why in practice I'm not keeping with everyone. But then in like races, I'm fucking dying. And I remember one race I did specifically was I did the 2,000 meter steeplechase. And for people who don't know what steeplechase is, it's like a little bit of it's like running a mile, but you gotta jump over like hurdles. But it's not like the hurdle event where it's like a hurdle every like 5-10 meters. It's like four hurdles on the track. And one of the hurdles, when you jump over it, you land into some water. Why we have to land into water, I have no idea why. But you land into water, right? And so you I learned, even though it's pretty much similar to a mile, I think it was a 1600. Actually, I think the steeplechase was just a mile, the one I did. Having to jump over a fucking hurdle for a mile consistently, that shit burns. And you land into the water, so your shoes and socks get all like full of water and wet, so it's holding you back. That shit burns. So anyway, I do this meet, and if memory serves me correctly, you can kind of just see where I just quit. And so I finished the race and went to bleachers, and Mr. Eric is always frustrated with me. And he's trying to talk to me, right? And I'm just like, just really I guess a part of me understands that like I have been training for a while for this race just to go out there and look like hot ass, right? And it's one thing if like again, remember the way I train at practice is way different than how I'm like in competing. And so he's like talking to me. And I think that's when he was really trying to get me to understand because I kind of had a small breakdown. I was like 17, like 16, 17. And I just had like this small, like, I was having a breakdown. But he wasn't like yelling at me or anything. He wasn't like, he he was always like a really chill guy. And I know when I say he get frustrated with me, it was like his own way, right? It wasn't anything major. So I'm sitting there having like the major, like, emotional response. And he's kind of just trying to get me on stage. Like, you see this feeling? It's because you don't believe in yourself. You don't your image. He's just trying to talk to me. and it would just be other things. He would give me books to read. He would give me speeches to listen to. He would he would just he gave me all the resources I needed. He just needed me to be receptive to it. And so I wasn't really that receptive to it. But you fast forward to when I'm 21, right around the time I'm starting jujitsu, that's when I really just hit rock bottom. I I remember I just thought about everything that he would try to talk to me about. And so the book he gave me like 5 years earlier, I actually just sat down and read it. It was called Psycho Cybernetics. And I read the book. I started trying to practice what the book said, which is kind of like it was like a directed meditation type of thing. But it was he was a very the book was really was about treating the brain kind of like a computer of sorts, but it was like God's computer that he made, and you could yeah. But it's a really good book for anyone who wants to like read it to work on like just work on your self image and meditation and stuff. It's a good book for that. So I read that book. Um, and I got to a bunch of other things that he would just talk to me and show me about, and I just got hit a point in my life where I was like, maybe I should do what Mr. Eric said because shit ain't going my way right now in any aspect of my life. And I still talk to him to this day. I don't talk to him as much. He just got married. He does. I mean, with the time difference, but I still talk to him. And I'm always thankful for Mr. Eric. I always say I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for him getting frustrated with me when I was like 16, right? So he was like the first person who would just like. I mean, obviously, all the adults, right? When you're growing up, it's like you should believe in yourself, and they want to like do positivity. But I think he was the first person to really just like sit down and talk to me, or at least try to talk to me. Like I said, I wasn't really receptive, but he tried in the time.
Hmm.
Just be like, I see that, I don't know why, but you don't really love yourself, like yourself, whatever's going on, and that's like really important for everyone. He was the first person to really like not only talking about it, but give me like tools. Like I said, he gave me a bunch of resources. I just didn't use them to like 4 or 5 years later.
That's that's great that you had someone like that that helped you to improve your self image of yourself, even though it took a little bit to get there. All right, Brendan. I want to thank you for taking time out to be on our podcast today.
Oh,
Um,
thank you for having me.
yeah, I wish you nothing but success in your upcoming match, and good luck with baby number two. Gonna keep you busy when you got two of them going on. So good luck with that part too.
Appreciate it.
All
All right.
right,
See you
everyone's
later.
have a
Hopefully, I see
small
you next
man.
fight to win.
Yes, sir. We'll be there. Okay, so hang.